Imagine a world where losing a limb wouldn't be a life-altering event. Picture this. You get injured, and instead of a permanent loss, your body starts to grow back the limb, just like a lizard's tail. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right?
But what if humans could regenerate limbs? How would that change the way we live, work, and even think about our bodies? This is What If Explanations.
And today, we're diving into the fascinating possibility of humans regenerating limbs. All right, so let's start by thinking about the big question.
Why can't we regenerate limbs right now?
After all, some animals can do it. Look at salamanders. They can lose a leg or even parts of their heart, and over time, their body just regenerates.
For us humans, not so much.
Sure, we can heal cuts, we can even regrow a bit of our liver, but a whole arm or leg? Not happening.
But what if it happened? What if humans could regenerate limbs?
Imagine the possibilities if we could harness that kind of power. It would be a game changer, right? Think about the lives we could transform. First, we have to understand the science behind regeneration.
In creatures like salamanders, there's a type of cell called a blastema. When they lose a limb, these blastema cells come together at the injury site and basically reset themselves to a blank state. Think of it like pressing a reset button on your computer. These cells can then multiply and develop into new bone, muscle, nerves, and skin. The limb grows back, almost like magic.
But humans? We don't have that capability, yet. However, scientists are already working on understanding these processes and figuring out how we might be able to unlock that ability in humans. Regeneration isn't just about what was lost, it's about perfect reconstruction with nerves, muscles, and everything working just as it did before. Now let's ask the real what-if question.
If humans could regenerate limbs, how would that change our lives? Think about injuries. Right now, losing a limb means a prosthetic or living with the loss. But if we could regenerate, that entire scenario flips. You get hurt, and instead of a permanent change, you're back to normal in a matter of weeks or months. Maybe it takes a little longer for a full leg to grow back, but it's better than never having it again.
Imagine the impact on healthcare.
Prosthetics could become a thing of the past. Surgeons might focus more on activating regenerative processes rather than performing complex surgeries to save a limb. Rehabilitation would be all about regrowth instead of learning how to adapt to life without a limb.
The medical field would undergo a huge shift, focusing on ways to speed up regeneration, ensuring that the new limbs are just as functional as the old ones. Psychological and societal impacts of limb regeneration are profound.
Imagine the changes in how we perceive disability and recovery. Then, think about the military and dangerous jobs like firefighters, construction workers, or even astronauts. Right now, these roles come with a high risk of injury, including losing limbs.
But if humans could regenerate limbs, that fear would diminish. The military could push their soldiers even harder, knowing that injuries would be reversible. Dangerous jobs would be less life-altering, and we could take more risks without the same level of consequence. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. In this chapter, we explore the potential drawbacks of human limb regeneration.
While the idea is fascinating, there are several challenges and risks that need to be considered. If humans could regenerate limbs, would it make us more reckless? Would people take unnecessary risks, knowing they could just grow back what's lost? Imagine sports like extreme mountain biking, skateboarding, or even combat sports. Would these become even more dangerous, pushing the limits because athletes know they can regenerate? It could lead to a rise in reckless behavior, as people may not fear injury the way they do now.
And what about crime?
Criminals might take more risks too.
Losing a hand or a finger during a heist? No big deal, it'll grow back.
This could lead to a whole new set of challenges for law enforcement.
They might have to deal with a more fearless criminal element, where bodily harm is no longer a significant deterrent. It's a wild thought, but one that we can't ignore if we're talking about such a major biological change. Another interesting angle to consider is how this ability might change the way we think about aging.
Regeneration could mean more than just regrowing limbs. What if it could also reverse signs of aging? If we can regenerate limbs, could we eventually regenerate other parts of our bodies? Our skin? Our organs? It's not that far-fetched. If regeneration becomes a part of human biology, it could extend our lifespans. Maybe you wouldn't just grow back an arm. Maybe your body would maintain a youthful state for much longer. Aging could slow down, making humans live longer, healthier lives.
But of course, there are ethical questions.
Who would have access to this kind of ability?
Would it be available to everyone, or would it be reserved for the wealthy and powerful?
Could this lead to an even wider gap between the rich and the poor?
Imagine a world where only a select few can afford to regenerate their limbs, while others have to live with permanent injuries. It would raise serious concerns about inequality and fairness. And what if we take it one step further?
Could humans regenerate more than just limbs?
If we crack the code of regeneration, what's stopping us from regenerating entire organs? If your heart or lungs fail, could they grow back? This would completely revolutionize healthcare as we know it. Organ transplants could become a thing of the past. Instead of waiting for a donor, your body would simply regenerate the organ that's failing. Heart disease, liver failure, many of these issues could be solved if humans could regenerate not just limbs, but vital organs. In the grand scheme of evolution, the ability to regenerate limbs could have profound implications.
Indeed, it could change the way we understand survival and adaptation in the natural world.
Humans have evolved over thousands of years without the ability to regenerate limbs. But if we were to develop that power,
it could lead to entirely new evolutionary pathways. What kind of humans would we become? Would this regeneration ability be passed down to future generations? Would it change the way we look or even the way we behave over time? Evolution might take us in directions we can't even predict right now.
And what about space exploration? Right now, space missions are dangerous, and the risk of injury is high. But if humans could regenerate limbs, it might make space exploration safer. Imagine astronauts who don't have to worry about losing a limb during a risky mission. Regeneration could allow us to push further into space, take greater risks, and explore places we've only dreamed of. We also can't forget the psychological impact this would have on us.
How would it change the way we see our bodies?
Right now, we're used to thinking of our limbs as permanent fixtures. But if they could grow back, would we start to see them as more temporary? It's a strange thought, but it could change the way we value our bodies. Maybe we'd become more casual about injuries, knowing they're not the end of the road. But on the flip side, would we start to see ourselves as invincible? That mindset could have its own set of problems. As we delve deeper into the possibilities of human limb regeneration, we must also consider the scientific challenges.
Even if scientists figure out how to activate human regeneration, it's not going to be a quick or easy process.
There's so much we still don't know. How long would it take to regrow a limb? Would it take weeks, months, or even years? And how do you ensure that the limb grows back exactly as it was before? What if it grows back incorrectly or doesn't fully function? There are many technical hurdles to overcome before human regeneration could become a reality. And finally, let's not forget about the cost.
Even if we could regenerate limbs, it's unlikely that this ability would come cheap.
The technology and research required would be incredibly expensive, at least at first.
Would this be something that everyone could afford, or would it be limited to those with the resources to pay for it? The idea of human regeneration is exciting, but it would come with its own set of financial and societal challenges.
In smaller communities, the disparity could be even more pronounced, making access to such treatments a significant challenge. And what about those in dangerous jobs? Regenerating limbs could be a game changer, but would these workers be able to afford it, or would it just be another perk for the wealthy? In conclusion, if humans could regenerate limbs, it would completely change the way we live our lives.
From healthcare to dangerous jobs, to how we think about aging and evolution, the impact would be profound.
But along with the benefits, we'd also have to face new challenges, ethical dilemmas, reckless behavior, and the cost of this incredible ability.
It's a fascinating thought experiment, but one that leaves us with as many questions as answers.
So what do you think?
If we could regenerate limbs, how would it change your life? Let us know in the comments.
This has been What If Explanation, and thank you for watching.